What's going on, everybody? King of Dragons 5000 here, coming at you with another figure review. Today we'll be having a look at the Hasbro Marvel Legends Avengers Endgame series, Ronin. Here we do have Ronin in the packaging. What we're going to do now is take a little break, get them open up, and then we'll have a better look at the figure inside. So stay tuned, everyone. And so here we have Ronin posed and out of the packaging. Before we have a look at the figure, let's actually take a look at what Ronin comes with. Ronin here does come with the left arm of the Thanos Build-A-Figure, which we'll have a better look at when Thanos is all put together. But for right now, we'll have a look at Ronin. Ronin here does come with his hood, and his hood is removable, so if you want to have him with the hood on, you can, or you can take it off for a hoodless look. Ronin also does come with two left hands. He comes with a left hand for holding his sword, and then he also does come with a left hand throwing some shurikens. Since we're on a topic, he does also come with two swords. He comes with a longer sword, which looks really nice. And then he also does come with a shorter sword, and you can have him holding the swords in any hand that you want. And you can also have him store both swords on the back, which it does have a nice look to it. Just be aware that the longer sword is going to be poking out through the front. I suppose you can take both swords out and rearrange them so that the front sword is in the back, and the back sword is covering that up. But then when you look at the front, you have that silver blade poking through. So the way I have it, I normally have the shorter sword on this side, longer sword in the back. That way it just hides it better when looking at it in the front. With that out of the way, guys, that's everything Ronin comes with. So what we're going to do now is actually take a look at his details. And so here we have a closer look at Ronin, and Hasbro did a really good job making this figure. Now, like I said, his hood is removable, so you can take that off. And the hood has a lot of nice little details to it too. You can see it has the gold trim painted really well. The stitch work in it is actually really well sculpted, and then it also does have the gold trim around the edge right there. Now, there is a specific way that the hood goes. You want to make sure that the double lines are at the top, and that it actually goes underneath the collar. I have seen some people try putting the collar on, or his hood on like that. Though it's a good look, it really doesn't make any sense, so the hood actually does go a certain way. So if you want to have him with the hood, just remember the double gold lines go to the top, the single one points to the bottom. As far as his head sculpt goes, it's a really nice masked head sculpt. There's really not much to say about it, but it does look like a guy in a mask, so that is really good. You can see they did give him holes for breathing, which is pretty accurate to what I've seen from screenshots. The texturing right here on the gold and paint is done really well. It's exceptional. There's really no flaws I have with my gold paint. Flesh tone is actually painted in the little eye holes really good, and the face print is really good, so you can actually see his blue eyes in there. Ronin also does have a scabbard, which you can take off, so if you don't want to have him with his sheath on, you can. I did notice that when you have his sheath on, you can't put his right arm all the way down, and that's just because the plastic pushes it out. His jacket is removable, so if you don't want to have Ronin wearing his jacket, you can take that off, which I can understand why some people would want to do that, because it does limit articulation, and we'll get into that when we actually have a look at his articulation. But overall, they did a superb job again with his jacket. You can see the gold here is really nicely done, and it's really well textured. I do appreciate the fact that it's textured. Going on to his costume, you can see he does have some elbow pads right there. He is wearing some gauntlets right here with some gold outline, so those look really nice. I do like that little detail. And there's a lot of texturing throughout this figure. You can see even his gloves have a mesh texture on the inside of his hands. It's gold paint with some more texturing. So Hasbro just did an amazing job sculpting this figure, but that's not to say he doesn't have issues. The sculpt is fantastic, and if I do a rating system, which I don't intend to ever do, Ronin here would get a really high sculpt. But you can see even his knee pads have a lot of nice sculpt, a lot of paint. So the main colors you see on him are black and gold. He does have a knife right here, but it's actually sculpted onto his leg. I would have liked to see this knife a separate accessory, because that would have given us another little thing that he could hold. His shin guards are done really well. You can see the gold paint is once again done really well on both sides. And then he's just wearing black boots. Overall, this figure looks really, really nice, and I am glad I did pick Ronin up. So what we're going to do now is actually compare him to a few other figures you may have in your collection. So here we have Ronin posed next to a Marvel Legends Deadpool and a DC Multiverse Superman. And finally, here we have Ronin posed next to a WWE Elite Scale figure and a Mezco 1/12 Collective Popeye the Sailor Man. So with the comparisons out of the way, let's actually take a look at Ronin's articulation. Now, there's a lot of things wrong with this figure's articulation, and we'll go through that really fast. For starters, his head is on a ball joint, which if you have his hood on, you really can't do much just because the hood does get in the way. At least the hood looks nice when it's on him, but without the hood, he can look down and up. Really little head bobble there, but it's something. It's better than nothing. Head does turn left and right, no issues there. Arms are on a ball joint. They go out to about that far. They do a full 360. They do jet out a little bit when they hit his jacket, but it's not too drastic. On mine, I can't get his arm to go past this point. I can get his left arm up higher, but his right arm just doesn't want to go, and it's really stiff. I might have to take a hairdryer to that. He does have a swivel at the bicep, which works really well. Double jointed in the elbow, looks pretty good. He does have a swivel and a hinge in the wrist, although it's really stiff, but it at least looks nice any way you have him pose. Now this is where his articulation does get a little bit hindered. He has an ab crunch under this jacket, but this jacket is so thick you cannot move his ab joint. Like, I'm trying to, it just doesn't want to move. He does have a waist swivel which functions normally. Legs do go forward to about that far, go back. They only go out to about that far. He has a thigh swivel at his hip. And then his knees, he does have bendable knees, but unfortunately it's really, really stiff. And the reason for that is those detents in his knee are really big, and they don't allow for fluid movement. If those detents were a little shorter, I wouldn't be having such an issue, but look at the size of that detent right there. That is too big for a joint that's supposed to move freely. He has no bootcut swivel, but he does have a hinge in the ankle which goes back that far, comes forward that far. He does have forward-facing pin for rocker. So overall, he has decent articulation. It's not the best. It can be fixed, and I might end up doing it with my Ronin, but we'll see what ends up happening. So what we're going to do now is actually take a little break, get him posed for my final thoughts, and then we'll wrap up this review. And so here we have Ronin posed for my final thoughts. Overall, he's a really nice looking figure. However, he is plagued with a few issues. For starters, that jacket is way too thick, and I really think Hasbro should have done a better job in making the jacket. If they had sculpted the jacket as his main torso and added the ab crunch in that way, it would be so much better than the way they did it here. The thick plastic jacket does not afford any sort of articulation. You can remove the jacket, which is a good thing, and there is a sculpt underneath his jacket, but I really think that the jacket makes this figure look much better, seeing as how it's the go-to look for Ronin. The removable hood is a nice touch, and I do like the swords and the extra shuriken hand, but I do feel that the torso should have been sculpted better. Now, if you are looking for Ronin and the other Endgame figures, they are starting to hit stores now. I've actually picked up my entire case from Big Bad Toy Store, so if you are looking for the case, you can pick it up there. Or you can find this entire series at your local retail, such as Walmart, Target, or Walgreens. With that being said, guys, I'm KingofDragons 5000. Don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel. Go check out all my other action figure reviews, as well as all my other WWE and Marvel Legend videos. Hopefully you find them informative. As always, if there's a figure you would like to see me review, let me know down in the comments, and if it's in my collection, I'll definitely have a look at it. And while you're at it, check out my Instagram for new and exciting action figure pictures, and ring that bell for new notifications. Until next time, guys, I'll see you later. Take care, everyone.